All right, welcome to UFC 314 Monday Movement on the Line. And before we jump into that, which I have up on the board here, I do want to go over some of our, we had a bad week last week. So we were down 11.5 units. Now, an interesting thing about that, if our Josh Emmett bet cashes, we would have been up 3.3 units despite having a terrible day. But that was the main thing, is the day was bad. And we had a lot of bets that the lines, it didn't work out and it didn't make sense. Some of the decisions, some of the way the fights went too, like the Torres Finney and things like that. But that's just stuff that happens, and that is what we call variance. So we are going to shoot for profitable weeks every week, and we are going to avoid the week like last week. We're going to avoid that with everything we can, because those are the ones we can't afford. We can afford the 3-unit losses. We can afford that. We can't get crushed multiple weeks. And so we will have some like that, but they need to be few and far between. But that's also why we are smart with our unit sizing. And we started off with a certain amount, and we were betting a small percentage of that. It was about 5%, which was a little high per unit. But that is now a totally different ball game. We're betting about 2.5 percentage points of unit size. So, and we've increased our unit size by 50%. But the reason why we have more units is because of all the winning we did earlier. We finished quarter one 75 units up. And so now we're rolling into quarter two, and we're starting off below zero. We're at negative 11.5 unit. So we're going to jump right into UFC 314 here. I gave out the early bets, and it's just going to be more of the same. We're just going to keep our stuff tight this week. So I've already added on Nora Cornell. I'm up to 6.6 units to win 4. It's a combined line of minus 165. I loved her at minus 175. Loved her at minus 150, which is where I put that second bet at. Actually, I got it at minus 155. It's back up to, I think, about a minus 165. You can get it now. That line should go nowhere but up. Don't forget, last week, Chang Ho Lee was at a minus 175, same line. And that got bet all the way down to like a minus 130 at one point. So the money is not always right. And in this case, it can only be dead wrong, in my opinion. I actually have her even higher than Chang Ho Lee. I even reran this because I was like, okay, there's some things I want to be factoring in here, style matchups, this, that, and the other. There is nothing that Haley Cowan has that should be a problem. She's significantly ranked lower. So if we take a look, let's go by the fight order. Haley Cowan's Glico is 1201. Her WHR is not rated due to inactivity because she hasn't fought for so long. Now, that can sometimes mean that she's, going to come out much better. I'm not going to bet on an unknown. Glico also factors in the layoff. So maybe she got better, but maybe there's ring rust. So that's a 0%. There's no upgrade, downgrade. And so in this case, Nora Cornell's a 1513, 1201. That is a massive discrepancy for a line in the hundreds. Give me that all day. 6.6 to win 4. Next bet is Mitch Raposo. We got him at a plus 171. He got all the way up to a plus 190. It shows here a plus 185. I'm pretty sure that went down. Let's flip over here to fightodds.io, one of my favorite websites, an absolutely fantastic. We don't give them enough props. A fantastic set of books here that you can compare the lines to. It just goes on and on. I love it. So let's take a look. She's up to a minus 170 on Bet Online. So she's right back up there. I think that's going to start to get steamed, guys. So please jump on that early. I'm going to get this out tonight for you guys if I can. Because, I've already given her out, though. I have given her out at the minus 175. But I really think this needs to be hammered. And especially if you have Bookmaker, you're good. If you're on DraftKings or FanDuel, I know a lot of you are still in the minus 175, minus 165. This is good up to a minus 300, believe it or not. That's how much confidence we have. So Nora Cornell is our bet for the opening of the card. We're going to start off with a bang here. And you know what? This is going to be a 5-unit play. And a part of me wants to just put that 5th unit on now. But the line has shown that it can move around a little bit here. So we aren't 100% sure if it's going to go up or down, although I would predict it going up. I mean, I already have 4 units, and I actually have more than that because I do have, if we come down here, sorry, I wasn't sharing my spreadsheet with you guys. I'm very busy right now, too, with all my work and all this going on. And so I don't have as much time to edit and all that. So we're just going to run all the way through. You're going to get the whole spiel. At least you don't sit through some of you sit through the 6-hour live streams. Much appreciated. I have a lot of fun, but it'd be great. I mean, is a great idea for YouTube if they would just listen up. Content creators who like, with live sports, give them a way to live stream them and add commentary, and you pay like a fee or something, like a subscription, and you're allowed to, live stream the fights or whatever it is with commentary. I could see where that would get a little sketchy. They got their copyright and all that, but either way, we enjoy ourselves. We have some fun. We place bets live. We celebrate our wins, and we're going to celebrate some wins this week. I know I said that last week. I'm going to say it every week. Every week, we're going in positive. And this is no different. Despite losing 11.5, we're not going to get outside ourselves. We're going to stay within what we do. And so we have an Alexander Volkanovski, Nora Cornell parlay, 2 units to win 3.06. So really, we have 8.6 units on Cornell. And if that's a 2 unit and a minus 175, or it's probably paying out about, on Cornell's side, it's going to pay out 1.3-ish. So, we're looking at 5.3 units on there. So we may be fine here on this. And we do want to be somewhat cautious, but I just love this bet. If you place one bet this week, it's Nora Cornell, in my opinion. Okay, and then the next one. Mitch Raposo, we were talking about this for a second. 3 units to win 5.2. We'd switch over to the odds screen. And if we take a look at Mitch Raposo, he's currently at a plus 162. So right along where we were at, we grabbed him at a plus 190. We grabbed him a lot of different spots, but he got all the way down to a plus 145. All right, so Mitch Raposo here, 3 units to win 5.12 at plus 171. I'm giving him a 56% chance. So at any plus money, we have value. He's fighting Sumadarji, and he has higher Glico, and he's got a slightly higher WHR. And Mitch Raposo has not fought much in the UFC, so I would argue that his upside is also higher than Sumadarji. And there you go. So I like him at that plus money. I do think that Mitch Raposo is improving as a fighter as well. He showed that against Andre Lima, and now he just needs to actually get a W, because despite potential, we need to see that materialize. And I'll probably just stick with the 3 units. I like it at this 171. It's a newer fighter, so there's a lot of, variability there. We don't know everything we need to know. So there it is. Next one that has value that I'm not pulling a trigger on, and I'm going to be a little cautious this week. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think that money will come in on Julian Erosa, but we'll see. Darren Elkins is tough. I don't think he's going to win the fight, though. And he's only got a 38% chance. So I'm tightening. We got plenty of units out where I don't need to squeeze bets in like I did last week. We're just going to go with the bread and butter, with the ones we really like. Jim Miller, bet him too early against Chase Hooper. He's now at a plus 525. I'd still put a unit on him. Jim Miller's the kind of guy I definitely want to have money on, because what's the difference between Darren Elkins and Jim Miller to me? They're both old. What's the difference? Jim Miller has not really shown much deterioration compared to Elkins. He's taken less damage over the years. This is a play. This line is here because of Chase Hooper, but you could have got Chase Hooper when there was still value on him in some of his earlier fights, and now he's getting this huge price tag against a feisty veteran. So I have a unit, not at the best line, might add another half unit or a unit, we'll see. But again, he's still only a 38% probability of winning, so we're gonna tread lightly there. No value. Here's one where there's no value anymore. Big bummer. Sean Woodson is now a minus 170 the last time I looked. There's no value anymore. And there's actually value now on Dan Ige at 145. 3.2, not much. But guess who has a bet on Sean Woodson at plus 140? This guy does. Wish I would have gotten more units on it. But even at 140, I wasn't like in love with it, but I liked it. And so I put a unit on it. I thought Ige would get a little more money on him, but he's not. The smartest thing would be to collect the 40 points in between and just bet Ige at plus 145. And I have half a mind to do it because, now Sean Woodson's overvalued. But we like the bet either way. We're happy we beat the line movement there. Okay, we got Bryce Mitchell here. I'm waiting. I think John Silva wins. Bryce Mitchell's a 42% chance of winning. John Silva should win. I'm very concerned that John Silva is just that dude when it comes to physicality, strength, and violence, and Bryce Mitchell has been susceptible of that. He can beat guys that, aren't necessarily at that upper level, but he could out-wrestle John Silva. We're not sure yet there, so I'm not going to say no way, but it's showing value, and I do think money comes in on Silva when it's all said and done. I think if we get a plus 300 on Bryce, we'll take it. But we're going to be cautious this week. 42%, not good enough for me, but not bad. Patty and Michael Chandler, it's pretty dead on. Patty's a little overvalued at the minus 170, but if you got him at the minus 140 earlier, I think you could get him at. Probably would have been a solid play. Give him a 58% chance of winning. I definitely think Patty does get the win here, but it is a step up, even from Bobby Green. And Patty Pimlet was even money versus Bobby Green. So take it for what it is, but we did learn a lot that Patty was better than we thought, and he's really taking his time, and I like the headspace. I like where Patty's career has gone. Started out really fast, now it's kind of slowed down. He's slowly getting into it, but I like it. I like the way his career has gone. Then we have the main event. This is showing tremendous value. We're giving Volkanovski a 70% chance of winning. That's mainly based on his WHR. His Glico is pretty close, and I think that's Diego Lopez. Obviously, a lot of momentum going his way, but the WHR is on Volkanovski's side, and with that, we have to give Volkanovski, we have to give him the higher percentage of winning here. And so even at the minus 145, we put 2.8 units to win 2 at minus 140. We liked it even better there, and we have him in the parlay with Cornell. I'm thinking 2.8 to win 2. We got to have more on Volkanovski there, and we should probably have more on Cornell. I'm jumping out to the book. See you guys in a minute. All right, we're back. We're back from the book, and we put another unit on our parlay with Volkanovski and Cornell. We now have 3 units, so we got 2.8 straight up to win 2 on Volkanovski. I believe in Cornell more than Volkanovski, but I do. So I want to get more in on both. I still believe in Volkanovski, but it's going to be a tough fight. But our metrics show 10 percentage points of value for a favorite, 70%. I like it. So 3 units to win 4.74. We have more units on Cornell on the front end. I like that because we can cash in some money there, plus still be going with our parlay here. And so 3 units on Cornell, which is probably a hybrid, like what we're winning out of that is most likely about like 1.75. And then we're taking the 3 plus the 1.75 and putting that on Volkanovski. So 3, 175, 475. We're putting about 7 units to win 6.74 on Volkanovski at that point. And that's a hybrid between the straight up and the parlay. And so our updated odds here is a plus 158, 37% ROI. Fantastic, guys. And let's look at this here. All right, so our final recap for our Monday Movement segment here is Nora Cornell, 6.6 units to win 4 units at a minus 165. It's my favorite bet of the night. Mitch Raposo, 3 units to win 5.12. I have him a 56% chance of winning, so we're getting that nice over blackjack money there, in my opinion. Then we have a 3 unit to win 4.74 unit parlay on Volkanovski and Cornell, and then we have the straight up Volkanovski 2.8 units to win 2. And then we have Jim Miller 1 unit to win 3.5 units. And then we have 1 unit on Sean Woodson to win 1.4. We got him at that plus money, and we're going to stay at that because there's no value at that minus 170. This should be a nice little bonus bet. And I do have a thought that if that Dan Ige gets out of control, we will lock in a profit there. No reason to gamble when you can just make money. And plus, what are my percentages? 56%. So it's a little over a coin flip. If we can lock in that money, we will, and we'll do that on Friday. If we can, if we have to, we'll do it live on the live stream. Jim Miller here. Didn't get the best number. I would definitely put money on him at 525. But his percentage chance of winning is only 38. So it is more likely than not that he loses, but the value, like we talk about, is very, very good on Jim Miller there. So there you go, guys. I would, if you want to parlay, there's a great card. Cornell, Volkanovski. If you want someone that's, as close to a lock as I can see, Cornell is my lock. Mitch Raposo is my 50%er that's given me almost 2-1. And Jim Miller is my long shot with veteran presence, with a lot of wins, and he hasn't slowed down yet. So we'll see if Hooper can do that to him. Volkanovski, the 2.8 units to win 2. He's a solid, slight favorite. Obviously a champion, a veteran. We know he's going to give it his all. 5-round fight. I like that spot for Volkanovski. He needs a win here. And then we have Sean Woodson. We already talked about that. Currently minus 170. So if anything, it's just going to be a playback. Other than that, I'm not touching anything else. A lot of unknowns here. A lot of fighters that I've highlighted Darren Elkins and Bryce Mitchell as maybes. But that's going to be if I get a plus 400 on Elkins. If I get a plus 300 on Mitchell, I'll pull the trigger. But this week, we already have 17.4 units to win 20.76. We're pretty much locked in here. And after a rough week last week, we want to get back in the win column. So we're going to play it that way. We're going to play it tight, and we're going to capitalize. We're still betting our value. We're not changing anything, but we are looking for some higher percentage guys on the projected probability. As you can see, almost all my guys are above 50 except for Jim Miller. So I believe that we should have a good card here. That's the recap for UFC 314. A lot of good bets here. Can't wait for this event to take place, and I can't wait to see you guys at the window.